Hello, everybody. It's Linda. I'm going to get right to it today. First, I want to give a shout out to my subscriber, Jeanette. Thank you for sending me this information. I think this is really important and worthy of sharing with everybody. So here we go. It was reported by, I want to say this is Weatherboy. Yep, Weatherboy. And there's also another channel that basically has the same article. So I think it's Weatherboy Team, I believe. Yes, Weatherboy Team Meteorologist. There was a solar flare that erupted from the sun, triggering a solar tsunami. Now, I've never heard that term before, so I had to do a little bit of research. And this is the same article posted over here. This was posted yesterday by Admin Digi. So let's get to it. According to the National Weather Service Space Weather Prediction Center, which is the SWPC, a C3 flare erupted from Sunspot region 2859 on the sun on August 26th and appears to have sent a solar outburst towards the Earth. The SPWC confirmed by analyzing images available from the SOHO LASCO instrument the occurrence of a CME partial halo. In a statement issued by the SWPC, analysis and modeling are now underway to determine if there's any potential geographical influence component of this CME. The solar flare appears to have caused a solar tsunami. This was really getting my attention here. A solar tsunami, also known as the Morton wave or the Morton-Ramsey wave, is a signal of a large-scale solar corona shockwave caused by solar flares. Initially observed in the late 50s, technology published by NASA in 2009 confirmed the existence of such tsunami and its mechanisms. Unlike a water wave in the traditional tsunami sense, a solar tsunami is a wave of hot magnetic plasma about 62,000 miles across that races through the solar system at speeds of 565,000 miles per hour. Now, we know Joe Gorman of the Heliophysics Laboratory at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center. The sun's tsunami is real. NASA's Solar Terrestrial Relations Observatory, which is STEREO, STEREO, they confirmed a solar tsunami in 2009. The Stereo twin spacecraft captured the unexpected eruption of sunspot 11012 in February of that year. The explosion threw a cloud of gas weighing 1 billion tons into space and sent a tsunami fast along the surface of the sun. Stereo recorded the wave from two sites separated by 90 degrees, giving researchers an unprecedented view of the event. It was definitely a wave, says Spyros Pastorskos of George Mason University, lead author of the paper reporting on the discovery in Astrophysical Journal Letters. Not a wave of water, but a giant wave of hot magnetic plasma. The technical name is Fast Magnetic Dynamic Wave, or MHD wave. We'll talk about that in a sec. For short, the Stereo single saw climb nearly 60,000 miles, raced outward 565,000 miles per hour, and packed as much power as a 2.4 million megatons of TNT. Wow. And now it appears that the CME from region 2859 unleashed a similar solar tsunami today. That was yesterday. Scientists are now working to determine what type of geomagnetic storm, if any, will arise from the solar tsunami. While an earlier CME affected Earth as early as August 27th, which we can see on the Schumann resonance here. Let me just refresh that for you guys. So you can see this is the 28th, this is the 27th, but here we are. That's what they're referring to. So an earlier CME affected the Earth as early as August 27th, producing bright auroras in northern latitudes. A more significant event could unfold with this solar tsunami. Now they're saying words like could and all of that, and I will admit some of the titles could be clickbait, but if they're seeing this and they're measuring this is pretty serious, so we need to just be prepared and not be scared. Geomagnetic storms are rated on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being the weakest and 5 having the greatest potential for damage. Even a G1 geomagnetic storm can create problems. There may be weak fluctuations in the power grids and slight effects on satellite operations. The aurora borealis is also known as the aurora borealis. That's what it says. It can be seen at high altitudes from northern Michigan to Maine to northern points. Effects and auroras change as the geomagnetic storm gauges increase. And there's a chart right here. All of the links are down in the description box for you guys to check out a little bit later. Hey, Tina. Hey, Scotty. Sherry. Hey, what's up, guys? So I'm just going through some things here. You guys can check out the links and follow that yourself if you want to see them. But there's something big coming, and it's pretty cool. So here we go. A little bit more. Dark regions on the sun, known as coronal holes, are one of the main drivers of space weather now. According to the Space Weather Prediction Center, coronal holes appear as dark areas on the sun before they are colder than the surrounding plasma and are open magnetic field lines. The sun's outermost part of the atmosphere, known as the corona, is where the dark area appears. The solar corona was also one of the main features that sun scientists were most excited to study during the past solar eclipse. You can see the features in extreme ultraviolet, that's EUV, and X-ray solar images. The solar wind always flows from the sun towards the earth, but coronal holes are known to release enhanced solar winds. Coronal holes can develop anywhere in the sun and are most common during the solar minimum. One solar rotation of the sun occurs every 27 days, which is strange because I always thought the moon was every 27 days, but that's interesting. And sometimes they should teach this stuff in school, don't you think? It's kind of important. Let's see. I digress. One solar rotation of the sun occurs every 27 days, and sometimes coronal holes are able to continue several of these rotations. It is common to see fixed coronal holes at the north and south poles of the sun, but sometimes they can expand towards the equator, resulting in larger areas. Coronal holes near the sun's equator usually cause the solar wind to reach Earth faster. It is common to see the coronal holes producing G1, G2 geomagnetic storm levels, and sometimes, in rare cases, G3s have been reached. I don't know how rare it is. I'm not really sure who wrote this, like who they are, but let's keep going just for a minute here. NOAA forecasters analyze these features and have to take them into account during each forecast. If the Earth is experiencing the effects of a coronal hole and a coronal mass ejection is expected to affect Earth, the combined effects could lead to a larger impact and a more intense geomagnetic storm. Analyzing data from the DS cover and ACE satellites is one of the ways forecasters can tell when a solar wind boosted from a coronal hole is about to reach Earth. Some of the things they look for in the data to determine when the improved solar wind will reach Earth is increasing the speed of the solar wind, higher temperatures, low particle densities, and the strength of interplanetary magnetic fields when they're getting stronger. And that's not the IMF for the International Monetary Fund. Interplanetary magnetic field. That's the IMF I'm talking about here, or they're talking about, not me. All right. If you're an aurora hunter or a space weather enthusiast, you'll want to learn about coronal holes. They will provide a lot of our geomagnetic activity going forward and will remain constant through the solar minimum. Citizen scientists like you guys should explore Aurorasaurus, which allows you to share or get alerts and photos about auroral activity with a community of other interested in space weather. While these solar events can help illuminate the sky with stunning auroras, they can also do significant damage to electronics, electrical grids, and satellite and radio communications. Interesting. Let's see. Is this the old systems? Just wondering. Put some links down there in the description box here, guys. I mean, in the comments, guys, as you're getting your little downloads here now. Just little comments, if you don't mind. I'll go back and read them in a sec. On September 1st through the 2nd on 1859, a powerful geomagnetic storm hit the Earth during a solar cycle 10. The CME hit Earth and caused the largest geomagnetic storm on record. The storm was so intense that it created extremely bright auroras across the planet. People in California believed that the sun rose early. People in northeastern United States could read a newspaper at night by the bright twilight light. And people as far south as Hawaii could see the central Mexico aurora borealis in the sky. The south central Mexico aurora borealis. I knew I saw southern light sometime. All right, that's never mind. This event caused serious damage to the limited electrical lines and communications that existed at that time. Remember, this is 1859. Telegraph systems have failed all over the world, with some telegraph operators reporting electrical shocks. A June 2013 study by Lloyds of London and Atmospheric and Environmental Research, that's AER, in the US showed that if a Carrington event, let's tease this out here. If a Carrington event occurred in modern times, damages in the US could exceed 2.6 trillion, roughly 15% of the GPD annual total of the state. Now, let's just take a minute here and go see what a Carrington event is, shall we? Carrington Event was a powerful geomagnetic storm on September the 1st and the 2nd, 1859, during solar cycle 10. A solar coronal mass ejection, CME, hit Earth's magnetosphere and included and induced the largest geomagnetic storm on record. The associated white light flare in the solar photosphere was observed and recorded by British astronomers Richard Carrington. Oops, sorry about all those things there. Sorry, guys. By astronomers Richard Carrington and Richard Hodgson. The storm created the strongest auroral displays and caused serious damage to the telegraph systems. The now standard IUA identifier for this flare is Sol 1859-09-01. A solar storm of this magnitude occurring today would cause widespread electrical disruption, blackouts, and damage to the extended outages of the electrical grids. The solar storm of 2012 was of similar magnitude, but it passed Earth's orbit without striking the planet, missing by 9 days. Now, that reminds me of 2012 and some, theories that were going around about what happened in 2012 and what didn't happen and what could have happened. And very interesting. So let's just leave that there. That link is also in the description box. Let's go and find out what the Morton wave is, because that's the solar tsunami. All right. A Morton wave or Morton-Ramsey wave or a solar tsunami is the chromospheric signature of a large-scale solar coronal shock wave, described as a kind of solar tsunami. They're generated by solar flares. They're named for the American astronomer Gail Morton, an observer at the Lockheed Solar Observatory in Burbank, and Harry E. Ramsey, an observer who spotted them in 1959 at the Sacramento Peak Observatory. He discovered them in time-lapse photography of a chromosphere in the light of the Balmer alpha transition. There was a few follow-up studies in the decades, but then it was in 1995 when they launched this solar and heliospheric observatory that led to the observation of coronal waves, which caused Morton waves. So the Morton waves were, again, a topic for research. So this is pretty interesting here. The reality of the Morton waves, aka fast mode MHD waves, has also been confirmed by the two stereo spacecraft. They observed a 100,000 kilometer high wave of hot plasma and magnetism moving at 250 kilometers a second, in conjunction with a big coronal mass ejection of February 2009. Very interesting. So MHD is magnetohydrodynamics. Let's go see what that is. Magnetohydrodynamics. MHD is also magnetic fluid dynamics or hydromagnetics. It's the study of the magnetic properties and behaviors of electrically conducting fluids. Examples of such magnetofluids include plasmas, liquid metals, saltwater, and electrolytes. The word magnetohydrodynamics is derived from magneto, meaning magnetic field, hydro, meaning water, and dynamics, meaning movement. The field of MHD was initiated by Hans Alfvén, for which he received the Nobel Prize in 1970. Wow. This guy developed a field to study, which we've been calling magnetricity. We've been calling it magnetricity, right? We've been calling it that for the plasma, the magnetics, all of that. And there's a guy who got the Nobel Prize for this in 1970, and we're not teaching this to the kids in school? I think that needs to be addressed moving forward. The fundamental concept behind MHD is that the magnetic fields can induce currents in a moving conductive field, which in turn polarizes the fluid and reciprocally reciprocally changes the magnetic field itself. So just think of polar shift. That's an easy way to think of it. It polarizes the fields and it changes them, right? All right, interesting. So, all right, I put those links down there in the description box. This is what the Schumann resonance is showing today, uh, 28th, 29th. I don't know moving forward what this is going to do. These articles seem to indicate they don't want to like scare anybody the way they're wording stuff here, but they seem to want to indicate that we got something really big coming, maybe something that we haven't seen the likes of before. And with just a little tiny bit of teasing out of some of this information, we can see um, the Carrington event, the white light flare. This. Tell me what you guys are thinking. Let me come over here and see what you guys are chatting about, because we've got some really interesting things. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world, but when you start adding space weather into it, we got to remember something really important here, and that we are living in two worlds at the same time. We are walking between two worlds of, this timeline, that timeline, however you want to look at it, the physical, the spiritual. We're doing that at the same time. So of course it's confusing. We're going back and forth all the time. And I don't know about you guys, but I know the more I'm thrown back into the research mode and the digging mode and, trying to educate or share my truth, speaking my truth, the more I do this, the more I'm going back and forth, because so much is coming at me from both worlds. And your heart has to lead the way. You have to know what's true in your heart, and you have to stay, with your true light in here as your guidepost. Because I know a lot of you guys, I know if I'm feeling it, I know you're feeling it. And if you're not feeling swayed in any way, then bravo, congratulations. And please start a YouTube channel and talk about it, because people need your light and your inspiration and your guidance, because I'm feeling it. I'm being pulled back and forth all the time. And there's stuff that when you're trying to walk in between, you're trying to walk the sacred middle way, you still get knocked off on either side. You get information that comes in that throws doubt. You start doubting, but then you come back to the truth. You breathe, you become multidimensional again. Remember that your spirit is living in your body. When you remember these things and that you're divinely protected, when you remember the Christ light inside you and your North Star, when you remember those things, you have that peace again. You get back to your job and you keep working and you keep doing it. Now, let me see. Tina, woohoo. Scotty boy, let's do this. All right, you know what? Let me come up here and make myself a little bigger here. Hey, I'm tired, you guys. How are you sleeping? How's everybody sleeping? Are you having problems? Scotty boy, hello, Linda and gang. Sherry, you slept in this. Oh, I'm putting this one up. You slept in with the whiteout. Wait, what do I? Oh, yeah, the one. Let me see. This one right here. You were sleeping through that, huh? I couldn't sleep. Tina, I love you too. Scotty's all ears. Sherry, old systems destructing. Yes, this is how I'm seeing it. This is what I'm perceiving. There's been other times where you think we're going to get hit, the big one, the white light, the event, all these things we hear on the outside. But yeah, with everything that's happening, considering that we need to bifurcate everything that's coming out of the old system. Think of all the people that are walking out. Think of all the people that are leaving their jobs, that are standing up. Right now, there's a worldwide protest going on in probably every major city in the world, if not most of them. And they're walking out. They're saying, no, we're not going to take the mandates. And people are uniting under this no vaccine passport, stop the mandates. They're protesting in mass. And this is what needs to happen. So there's a lot going on. People are leaving the old system. Just remember when you guys stopped watching mainstream media, you left that system behind. I'm not saying you don't ever look in or you don't ever tap into that once in a while, or maybe you're living with somebody that has the news on, so you kind of have to watch it by default because you're walking through the room, but you still have a choice to leave that room and go somewhere else and put your own news on if you want that. When they say, let's see, Always look in both directions. Yes, Scotty, absolutely. Is that a little Freudian slip there? When they say look left, you meant it always means look right for Bigfoot. El it's El oh, it's Elvis. Oh, you were talking about Elvis. Okay, wait, let me put that one up here so you guys can see this. When they say look left, it's Elvis. It means look right. Perfect. That's perfect. I was gonna give the A-okay, but I don't wanna do that because that's an evil sign. That's not what I mean. I'll give you the peace sign. And Sherry, you never sleep in, but you did today, huh? Yeah, I know. I am tired, Scotty. That's why I was gonna keep myself on this one. See, you couldn't see the bags under my eyes. I'm going to bed late. It's almost like there's just not enough time to listen to all of the things I wanna listen to. People are sending me stuff to look at and to check out, and it's like there's just not enough time to check it all out. And I don't know if you guys saw the one yet. It was a video. It was like 5 days old. It just came across me today, but, how many of you guys are into Gematria with the numbers? You guys Do you guys know what that is? Have you even checked that out? Let me see. Gematria, Gematria. I think that's how you spell it. Um, Gematria? Nope, that's not how you spell it. Gematria. Let's try that one. I think that's right. Anyway, it's an encoded way to talk through numbers, and I'm sure all of you guys know about sacred numerology. You know about, um how everything's divine and there's codes and everything and all of that, and how numerology can be a very sacred thing. And we know that, the people working on the other side use it for nefarious purposes or use it in reverse and all of that. And you've probably looked up angel numbers yourself. So there's there's people out there that do these codes for gematria, and they're so fast at it, and I've just been so impressed with it. That's the thing I'm coming back to again. I started learning about gematria maybe a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years at the most, and it was fascinating to me because I was always into numbers. I always got repeating numbers and synchronicities and things, and now I'm starting to see people that are coming out behind the scenes that have been doing these codings, that have been doing these videos about gematria codes and all of the things they mean. It's like we're getting communications literally from God coming through divine or divine source. We're getting divine coding coming down and through, and everything is coded. So yeah, it can seem like a really big um, rabbit. Oh, it's another rabbit hole. It's not a rabbit hole. What is it? Help me out, guys. What do you think about numerology? Put it in the comments because it's so important that we see what the encodings are, what that means. And if we zoom out and we look at the bigger picture and we have one 3D old system over here, and we have our multidimensional spiritual system over here, and we're trying to walk the divine middle way, the divine path. We're walking between the worlds, like literally this time has been prophesized about. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like scary how it is, but not really, because what's the opposite of fear? Fear is in the 3D world, but in the spiritual world, it's not fear at all. It's love. It's perfect divine love. Everything is in alignment. So anyway, I didn't want to go on a soapbox. I just wanted to give you guys the give you the details about what's happening with this good old solar flare, solar tsunami. Never heard that term before. So, if you're worried and if you're fearful about what that could mean or what that would do or what that could do, just make sure you have, go out to the store and make sure you have some water and, have a little plan. Have something, don't go crazy. Don't go in like all prep mode. Oh my God, oh my God. Don't fear. Your God is taking care of you. God, the source creator, has got your back. You're divinely protected. So just walk in the truth of knowing that your spirit is protected and you'll be guided to do what you need to do. Maybe you need some batteries and that's it. Or maybe you want to stock up on water and coffee or whatever you drink and eat. All right, so Borean calling. All right, so Borean calling takes quotes from anyone and runs it through the geometric overs. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna find the website that I've been using for decoding myself, and I'm gonna put that in the comments and I'll pin it So you guys can check that out too. You can put anything in there, anything at all, and it decodes it for you, and it's all the same numerical value. Think of it this way. A is number 1, B is number 2, but that's not exactly how it works. But that's how when you're doing coded messages. Some of these things though, some of these things are just like unbelievable and so positive. I don't know what to make of all of them yet. I'll admit I'm still freshman level at that. But I just love learning, and this is my newest thing I've been learning about. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'm so glad you joined me. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow night if you guys want to do some work with us, because we use our spiritual side. We have the 144 roundtable, and I'll be joined by Sherry, who's in the comments here, and Sarah and Michael, and the 4 of us are going to do some more work on the grids. We're going to be doing healing work. We're going to be doing whatever's needed. And if you guys want to suggest something, or you feel like there's something needed for the collective, and I don't just mean our collective, I mean the collective of humanity and the planet, you know, that's what we do. So we're going to be sharing our work live. Come and join us, and I cannot wait to see you guys tomorrow night. Sherry, help me out. Tomorrow night we will be here at Eastern time, 8 o'clock. I think that's right, because it's 5 o'clock Western time. So that should be right. All right, you guys. I love you all. Peace out. Be a little bit better today than you were yesterday, and we'll see you all tomorrow night. Take care. Yep. Thanks, Sherry. Bye, guys.